Welcome to Jets Rewind. I'm Marty Schupak in Valley Cottage, New York. I'm joined by my two close friends, Ralph Schrager. He's out up in Belmont, Massachusetts, and Ray Clifford. He's out on the outskirts of Columbus, Ohio, in Marysville. And we just witnessed as the Jets lost a close game, 10-9, to the Denver Broncos. A missed field goal by Greg the Leg Zuerlein, which it never should have come down to. And I just want to make a few comments. How you guys doing, Ralph?
Oh, great. That was just such a fun game. God bless all the people who sat in the rain and watched that horrible game.
Ray, how you doing?
Uh, about expected for this is our one or two games like this a year that we have. No matter change coaches, change players, change quarterbacks, and one of these stinkers happens every year.
Right.
More than one.
Let
Yeah,
me
at
let
least
me
one.
let me just make a couple of my own comments and some general observations. This game to me was just like I said last week. It was one. It started and ended with Aaron Rodgers. Today's loss to me started and ended with Robert Saleh. I'm getting to dislike this guy so much. I find that his coaching decisions and personnel decisions are awful. I'll just start at the beginning. Why Leonard Taylor II is inactive, I'd never know. Even McGregor was inactive. The guys they had in there, we could not put a pass rush on this rookie quarterback. We sacked him 0 times. Aaron Rodgers was sacked 5 times. But going back to our coach, we had the football first and goal. Why in the world is he trying with Brees Hall again, short yardage?
Two times, two
Two
straight
times in a
plays.
row. It is so obvious to Jets Rewind and all real true Jet fans. We don't know what's going on with Brees Hall, but right now, Braylon Allen is the better all around football player. Not
Not even close.
Not even close. I mean, Reese Hall, he jumped off twice because he was faked by a linebacker they called illegal procedure. It was just pathetic. And then I hear Robert Saleh, before we got on the air, so a reporter, I think it was Brian Costello, asked him that question. Why didn't you use him in close? And his answer was because it's early in the game. I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
That is
And then, of course, I'm watching with some people, family members and friends, and we're talking about should they go for it on fourth down. And of course, on third down, Simpson, he jumps. So they ended up,
That was on fourth down.
that was on fourth down. So, yeah, okay. So they were going to go for it on fourth.
not right. Yeah.
Yeah,
He jumps. And,
so they kicked the field goal.
and again, it begins and ends. There are a lot of details. But the biggest reflection to me is the undisciplined play of both the offense and defense with the penalties. I believe there were 13 penalties, and not just they have what they call like aggressive penalties. These were stupid, idiotic penalties. Will McDonald lining up offsides. Lazard, I don't know what
Twice.
twice. Lazard, I don't know what he's doing. And I just want to say this. I'm going to turn it over to Ralph for his comments, but I just want to say that Sauce Gardner, he is nowhere close to being a player like Pat Surtain and also what's his
Christian Gonzalez.
Christian Gonzalez and the Patriots. He's got all the potential role. He's a half a player who tries to go for strip sacks. He's afraid to tackle. And I'll tell you this. There was a punt where the ball was down on the 1 yard line. If Sauce Gardner, he was running, I don't know if it was the gunner or the second gunner, if he stayed with him a half a second longer, that ball would have went into the end zone. That is stupid, lazy football. And that's what Sauce Gardner is. He's a lazy, stinking football player. One thing I can't stand is football players that are very talented and they don't play to their potential. They think they're better than the game. I'm just sick and tired of this guy, Sauce Gardner. Go ahead, Ralph.
Marty, I didn't notice that on that punt. I didn't realize Sauce Gardner was out there.
I could
Yeah,
be wrong. You watched.
yeah.
I don't think it was the main gunner. It was the secondary.
Right. I'm not questioning. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that I missed that. Yeah, I mean, you covered some of my stuff. Yeah, I mean, the announcers from the middle of the game on were saying, "Why isn't Braylon Allen out there?" I mean, we were saying that. We've been saying that for 3 weeks now. Uh, how is it that the coaching staff can't see what everyone else can see? It's like the emperor has no clothes. It's ridiculous. It's like, wait a minute, Braylon Allen, he made some yardage. Get him out of there. It's early in the game. We can't make yardage. It's like,
Right.
That I didn't hear that line where it was early in the game. That's why they went to Brees Hall.
Well, right
Yeah,
before we came on, I saw Robert Saleh and Brian
unbelievable.
Costello asked him that question.
Let's give away points because it's early in the game. That is unbelievable. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. You know, at the end of the game, I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but when they got at about the 34, 35-yard line, after the Mike Williams pass interference play, I was saying, get Braylon Allen in there, run it 3 times, run the clock down, get about 6 or 8 yards, easy field goal. And he's going with these passes where he can't afford to be sacked, so he's just flipping them quickly, and he's getting nothing out of it. I couldn't believe that. I mean, usually I'm an aggressive guy, but that was just dumb. I don't know. I don't know if that was Hackett or Rodgers, and Rodgers, of course, is hurting too, so he can't escape. And of course, they advanced Joseph, who had a great game plan for their defense. On that third down, when it felt like it was going to be the Jets' last chance, and Charles Davis said they're going to come with a blitz because they're not going to let them sit there. And sure enough, they did. And sure enough, the Jets were not prepared for it. Pathetic, absolutely pathetic.
Right, Ray, I want your comments. I just want to add to Ralph. In addition, there's definitely something off kilter with Rodgers and the receivers not being on the same plate or whatever, where he's thrown the ball one way and the receiver is either not looking or he's cutting to the other side or something, but something is not right. And besides that, last week, as well as the Jets blitzed, and they blitzed 40% of the time, I believe I heard the number of plays they blitzed today was 6. That's with a rookie quarterback. So, Ray, let me hear your comments.
Well, he definitely isn't on the same page because he missed. Well, I won't say he missed. Garrett Wilson never looked back, and then on the very next play, Gibson never looked back. On both plays, they were open if they'd have cut their run off, or their route off, like I think he expected them to. Unfortunately, if he'd waited another half second or quarter of a second, Lazard came across behind Wilson, and he would have been open too, and would have been about the same yardage that he was looking for with Wilson, but he had already thrown the ball. But 3 things really stuck out to me is, one, the obvious. You have a 1st and goal at the 1, you have to score. We didn't. And
score a touchdown.
Yes, score a touchdown. That's hell with the field goals. And you had the 4th down and they jump. Second, which brings me to the second one, which is, I believe by the end of the 3rd quarter, we already had 12 penalties. And a lot of them were just stupid, lining up on the wrong side of the ball, guys jumping, early.
Irv Charles, what was
Irv
that?
Charles is,
Unbelievable.
he blasts a guy. Great tackle, but it just was like totally.
Ball's not even close to him.
And I will say, on the second Will McDonald lineup in the neutral zone, I'm watching that thinking, I thought the penalty was going to be a holding on our defensive end on the other end of the line when Nick scrambled out to the left, and our guy clearly got held, and the flag coming out, I thought that was what it was for. I couldn't believe it when it was McDonald again, and it really, to me, that was a ticky-tack call.
Ooh, the second one was just like a hair,
Yeah,
and I've heard
he didn't even go right off the snap.
Yeah. I've heard that officials will say, if they're on the sideline, they will shout out to guys and say, "You're over the line." They'll give them that shot. I don't know what's going on.
By the way, Ralph, that's become controversial going back. I believe it was the Chiefs-Patriots game.
Yes, yeah.
So that's a big controversy when the guy they called offsides. But go ahead, Ralph.
No, Ray is in the middle. And
Ray, go ahead, Ray.
Well, and now I'm blanking on the third thing. I'm so mad about the others, and There was something else that had me. I didn't
Lazard one.
understand Lazard's penalty because he acted like he was shooting guns.
Yeah, that's what the official kept
And I think he flipped the
gesturing
ball.
to the. Well, it was both, but the official gestured to the other official. He kept doing that. So obviously they have a rule about that.
Yeah.
And why is Lazard a veteran doing stupid stuff like that? You know, I mean, they must know about that. And the league must have told them about that.
I'm surprised. And Lazard, he's one of our better players all year.
He had a couple of penalties today too.
Yeah,
he had other ones too. Well, everyone did 13.
Mike Williams was good, but I do think we got it wasn't all one sided too, because I think Garrett Wilson was out of bounds on that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right.
I was shocked when I saw they confirmed it.
Right. What's your take on Breece Hall at this point? I mean, Ralph brought it up, and that was good observation. Ralph didn't think he was all the way back from his injury at this point, but he's like a shell of a player, Ray.
I don't think he's as good as he was last year at this point. I mean,
Oh,
I don't
absolutely
know
not.
that this is about his, not being back from his injury as much as I just think he doesn't seem like he's got the same jump. He seems out of sorts a little bit with with these offside, early movements. And I don't think he's ever been a up the middle back, and they keep forcing him to be the guy on 3rd and 1 and everything. That should have been Braylon Allen from the start, from the 1 yard line, and we'd have been up 7-0.
Ray, I told Ray Ralph before we went on, Breece Hall had 10 carries. Guess how many yards?
8.
4.
Boy, Ray, you're really generous.
I knew at the one point they said that 3-yard gain brought him back to 0 on 8 carries.
Yeah, no, it's nice that Javonte Williams finally found his game against the Jets.
Well, that was the other thing. In the second half, Denver looked like they were playing on a dry field the way they were running. And
early in the third quarter, Denver took over both lines of scrimmage, and I said to myself, "This game they're going to win the game."
Yes, they won it in the trenches, Ralph. I had said that with the people that were watching with me, and you're right. That's where we knew he was going to run the game. Quickly, the scoreless first quarter. Second quarter, we hit 2 field goals. We missed on that touchdown. It was 1st and goal. We had to settle for a field goal. That's reminiscent, Ralph, of the playoff loss to the Chiefs after the Super Bowl year. Remember, the Jets had the ball.
Yes.
That's what it reminded me of. Third quarter, they scored a touchdown. It was broken coverage. Ray, I had asked Ralph before we were on the air if he knew what that was or had an explanation. He didn't. Did you see anything with that broken coverage?
I saw them guys kind of yelling at each other afterwards, but
Was it Adams and Sherwood? I think I saw Sherwood, and was Adams one of them, or Clark the other? Yeah,
Adams, and I'm not sure who else, but that was going to be my third point. Was their best receiver is wide open at the key point of of that drive when we could hold him to a field goal, and he's wide open, and we do that all the time this year. I mean, tight ends are wide open on 3rd and whatever. The CeeDee Lamb, the other, not this year, but CeeDee Lamb was wide open when we played the Cowboys the other year. I mean, guys who they're going to go to, and it just seems like we play soft coverage on them at the worst moment. And that one just killed me. I was so furious when they gave up that touchdown.
Ray, you heard me talk about Sauce Gardner. I want your opinion, but before you give it, I want to give kudos. I thought DJ Reed had a very good game.
Excellent game, yeah. They went after him, and he was up to the task.
Yeah, but Ray, I want your opinion, especially, and it was hard to hear at my house because it was loaded with people and kids, but I thought I heard the announcer say that Sean Payton wanted to put Sauce Gardner in a position where he has to tackle.
Yes, he said that.
So give me your opinion on the way he played today, Ray, and what do you think of that?
He seems to, like you guys said, he seems to be trying to pull the ball out on every play. I'm like, just tackle the guy. That's the first thing, first and foremost. You're supposed to be like the second or third guy in stripping the ball, not the guy that's trying to make the tackle. And, he wasn't killing us with his tackling, but it was definitely too soft. They were getting a bunch of extra yards. And, in a game like that, when it's raining, a few yards can be a difference between holding them and getting them off the field and the first down. And we said I remember us talking last year. He is not. He doesn't like to. He's like Dion. He doesn't like to tackle. He will once in a while, but for the most part, he's a cover guy, and that's about it.
Unfortunately, he doesn't cover us quite as well as Dion.
No.
Now, we scored 2 field goals. I don't know if I said this. In the halftime, it was 6-0. Then they scored a touchdown on that broke coverage. They're winning 7-6. We traded field goals, and we missed would have been probably a game winner, or got ahead with a few seconds. And Jets end up losing 10-9 in a game we should have won. It was constant drizzle out at MetLife Stadium. Just a couple of stats that we're going to continue to talk. I mentioned Brees Hall, 10 for 4. Aaron Rodgers, 5 for 26. And I don't know what happened to his hamstring. We'll have to figure that out, find out. Braylon Allen, 8 carries for 34. Braylon Allen had 1 catch for 12. I don't know why they don't throw to him more. I mean,
you know what? Just give him the ball on a run more. I mean, 4 out of 5 times he runs, it's good. It's a good play.
Mike Williams, 4 catches, 67. Alan Lazard, 6 for 68. Garrett Wilson, 5 for 41. Tyler Conklin, 4 for 17. Brees Hall, 2 for 14. Jeremy Ruckert, 2 for 10. Xavier Gibson, 1 for 6. And just quickly on the by the way, and I want to mention too, Garrett Wilson had a horrible fumble to start the game. That's not the way you want to start the game. And talking about starting games, I'm so sick and tired of the Jets coming out flat. Game after game after game, they come out flat. It's just beyond belief. I just, we can't get to like a 14-0 lead or 17-3 lead at all. On defense, Tony Adams, 11 tackles. Jamie Sherwood, I thought he was okay. 7 tackles. Quincy Williams, I thought he was good. 7 tackles. Chuck Clark, except for a penalty, I thought he was okay. Sauce Gardner, 5 tackles. I think that's a misprint. And Bruce Hector had 3 tackles. I don't know what he's doing there.
No idea. He just picked them up.
Michael Clemens, I really believe Michael Clemens he must own some compromising pictures of Robert Saleh or Jeff Ulrich, because I don't know why this guy's still playing. Tack McKinley had 2 tackles, but that guy's invisible. Eric Watts, 2 tackles. I really didn't see him. Ashton Davis had a nice tackle. I remember that.
Yeah.
And here's something I want to ask you guys: should we start to worry about our best player in defense, Queenan Williams, because he's been very quiet, Ralph?
The thing about Williams is he does get double teamed a lot. Like on one play, he had the guy, and his brother cleaned up the play. I would say that's way down my list of concerns with this team. And as much as we're ragging on the defense, they gave up 10 points, and in the NFL, if you can't win a game when your defense gives up 10 points, you don't belong in the league. It's ridiculous. So their defense played well. It really did. It played well overall. I mean, Nix was terrible in the first half. He absolutely was uncomfortable, and it was like, and I think I would have gone after him more because he was rattled, and I think they could have made some hay. I don't know why they didn't blitz a little more. That 6 plays, that's really interesting.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
They were killing Rodgers. The offensive line, that's what worries me the most, is their offensive line, because it's the most important unit on the team. We had high hopes for it. It just doesn't look that good. I mean, their run blocking up the middle stinks. It just flat out stinks. And their pass blocking, I mean, every time he drops back, I just, I'm tensing up because I feel like he doesn't get many clean pockets. And, for the most part, until sort of late in the game, any play that was made, he was making just by the skin of his teeth by running away from the pressure and getting rid of the ball just before he got nailed. He took a beating today.
He really did. Ray, what's your opinion on Quinn Williams? Is it a concern right now?
No, I'm not really concerned about it. I'd like to see more out of the other guys. Then I think Quinnen's doing what he can, but if they don't worry about anybody but him, then it's easy to double team him and single up on the other guys, and that's all they're having to do right now. There is no pressure coming from our ends or up the middle unless Quinnen makes it happen. I'm not sure what happened there in the second half that they were able to run on us so well. That concerned me a lot, but that's why I say they looked like they were playing on a dry field starting the second half. But that guy started breaking off chunks of yardage on all his runs, and it was a little disappointing because that made Bo Nix's life a lot easier when we were letting them run. Then he could do what he wanted, and I thought, I just think that this team, well, hell, you guys have been fans for 60 years. I've been fan for 50. And, games like this, it's not uncommon. That's why when I'm slow to jump on the bandwagon, it's because of this stuff. So I said last week, in the last pod that let's see how we handle success. And this is usually how we handle it, unfortunately.
Now, I got a note, I guess it was Rich Cimini. Aaron Rodgers was pressured 10 of his 22 first half dropbacks, 45.5%. 10 pressures is the most Rodgers has faced in the first half since week 14 of the 2018 season against the Falcons. I know Ralph in the first half, again, his buddy, Tyron Smith, in the first half, he was awful. He was a little better second half, but he's got like zero lateral movement. He needs help. He cannot move with a speed rusher that goes right around him. Yeah. It's like Mekhi Becton 2.0.
Yeah, I know he's wearing the same number, so maybe it is the same guy. But yeah, I'm beginning to wonder if when Moses gets back, if they're gonna think they won't. Not this coaching staff. You see, they won't do it. See, a guy like Bill Belichick, that's one thing about him. A lot I didn't like about him. He doesn't worry about anyone's feelings. If you're not playing well, get off the field and get someone else on there.
He treats everyone like everybody has the same contract for $1. I agree with you. If he was the coach, Braylon Allen, he would have been in there.
Absolutely.
He doesn't care. He would have just sat Breece Hall. It's a meritocracy with him.
Exactly.
With our coach and everyone else that, we have a cheerleader, he's loyal to a fault. And like 4 years from now, when he's at a bar with someone and, he said, what would you have done different? He'll say, I probably should have done this different, that different, whatever. But, I like to be loyal to my guy.
Yeah, 4 years into the game, he should know better. I mean, come on. His job is on the line now. This is ridiculous.
Absolutely. I think that, and again, I don't think I'm going out on a limb. If Braylon Allen was running the ball the number of times you should have been running or receiving the ball, the Jets win today.
I agree with you.
It falls back to our stupid head coach, Robert Saleh, who's a cheerleader. He cannot coach. I don't care. I was with people and I brought that up and they said, well, isn't that Nathaniel Hackett? I said, listen, the buck stops with him. He's got to override it and say, I don't want Hall in there. Put Allen in there.
I'd rather have Davis in there than Hall at this point.
I mean, look, and I'll read you a stat, again, from Rich Cimini. I guess it's the first half. Breece Hall rushed the ball 9 times in the first half for 3 yards. He was contacted at or behind the line of scrimmage 7 of the 9 attempts. If you look at Braylon Allen, even when he's hit, he's always going forward.
Gets 2 or 3 more yards at the end of every play.
Even if he gets to the line of scrimmage, if he's hit behind the line. Why are these coaches not seeing what we're seeing, and why don't they take action? They're going to lose their stinking jobs. They have to make a change that way, though. Ray, any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, the product that we watched speaks for itself, so there's not really much you can say. I think we would have scored on that first and goal series with Braylon Allen in there, and there's your difference in the game, really.
Mhm.
So,
Right, right. Okay. I also want to mention the no blitzing. I think that Mike Williams is getting better and better. I don't care who our number one receivers. I don't care if it's Mike Williams or Garrett Wilson. As long as they catch the ball and get yardage, that's all I care about. I made a note that, Aaron Rodgers, he does have an uncanny ability to extend plays. Some of those situations, I was amazed that he wasn't tackled, even though he was sacked 5 times. Okay, and what else did I put down? Let me just go through this. Quincy Williams had a nice stop on a 3rd and 4, and finally they put Braylon Allen in on a 3rd and 1, and they got the first down.
What a surprise.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
like-
it's just common sense. Why they did not blitz the other quarterback, I don't know. Ralph, here's a question. What was the over-under for the passing yards for Bo Nix? Remember?
I think 200, I said. What did he
Right,
get?
right. Guess what Bo Nix got passing? Take a guess.
200.
No, not even close.
60 yards.
Yeah.
60 yards. We lost to
Yeah.
an NFL quarterback that threw 60 yards. It's unbelievable. I can't get over it. It's just incredible. We can't make adjustments. Anything else before we close this out? And by the way, I'll be on Tuesday, 2 Minute Tuesday, and I can't wait because I'm holding some things back. I can't wait for that. Anything else you want to add before we close this out, Ray or Ralph?
Yeah, I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers. I thought he in the first half, I thought toward the end of the game, he was getting sloppy too. Some bad passes. I don't know whose fault those ones are where the guys aren't breaking it off. Maybe he's expecting too much out of them for not having really worked with them too much at this point. But they're going to have to get on the same page because those were big plays.
Yeah.
And that I mean, I feel kind of bad for Greg Zuerlein. I want to talk about Greg Zuerlein.
Could I interject one thing,
Yeah.
Ralph, before you get to zero? I just want to mention I got on Robert Saleh about the timeouts last game, and somebody slipped me a note, a Packer fan, that said Aaron Rodgers has been known to do that when he was with Green Bay, not paying attention to the clock.
Yeah.
So I just, much as I hate Robert Saleh, I just want to spread the blame to Saleh and Aaron Rodgers. Go ahead, Ralph.
You hate him as a
Right.
coach. You hate him as a coach, not as a
Right.
person.
No.
I think it was the Giants preseason game when Greg the Leg missed 2 field goals. He hooked them both left, and the other guy, Seifert, whatever his name was, hit about 4 out of 4. And I remember a few people were saying, who should we keep here? I have not been confident ever since. A lot of his field goals have been just making it inside the goalpost, and I probably jinxed him. And I sent you a text, Marty, after he made his 3rd field goal. I said, I don't trust this guy. He's way too close, and that last attempt was pathetic. I mean, the minute he kicked it, it was like, oh my God, that's not even in the right league. And I don't know. This bears watching. We can't afford to have a bad kicker. Did anyone pick up the other guy?
Yeah, I believe he's on the Washington Commanders. I'm just looking it up right now. And he actually, I think against the Giants, I could be wrong, he hit a nice field goal. No, I'm sorry. You're going to like this, Ralph. In week 2, Siebert was named NFC Special Teams Player of the Week after kicking a franchise record 7 field goals, Washington debut, accounting for all the team points in a 21-18 victory over the New York Giants. So, Ralph, that's
another thing Belichick wouldn't think twice about. I've seen him do it. Move on to the next kicker, stuff like that. I mean, it's not Greg Zuerlein's fault that they lost the game. There's a lot of people who can take the blame, but he's going to have a lot of sleepless nights this week because if he had hit that field goal, suddenly all this other crap would have been so much easier to deal with. Although in a way, it might be a wake-up call because if they had won this game, I hope they wouldn't really be feeling good about themselves because it was an embarrassing performance. 60 yards, that guy passed for. I can't believe it. He threw for 60 yards.
60 yards. And by the way, again, I said it before. I know Ray's going to start shaking his head. If I was Woody Johnson, I'd put
everybody and
out feelers to Bill Belichick.
uh,
I think he'd jump at the opportunity.
No, he wouldn't. He doesn't want to play for. He hates the Jets.
He'd jump at the opportunity to play for Rodgers and have a chance to put to his former team. That's what I would do. All right, Ray, any closing thoughts? He's not even shaking his head, Ralph. He's closing his eyes at me. Go ahead, Ray.
No comment.
Okay, anything on the game?
No, it's stunk, and I don't really want to talk about it anymore. I'm tired of that. I want to.
This is good. This is therapy, Ray. Believe me.
Well,
this and a glass of gin are keeping me sane right now.
They do this next week in London. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I wonder.
We'll take their passports away from them.
By the way, I don't think Malachi Corley got in today.
Oh my God! That guy's name. He hasn't crossed my mind in 3 weeks now.
I know. But Ray, have the Jets run a reverse in 4 games that you remember?
No.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing during the game. This would be a really nice try something.
Try something because this team is pretty aggressive. They have a defensive line. So try. In fact, it's funny, Ralph. I mentioned how I would attack their linebackers. Who makes the first play?
I know, yeah.
It was the linebacker that came in for the guy that was injured, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah.
All right, for Ray Clifford, Ralph Schrager, Marty Schupak, we have London week coming up. We're going to have to, and I'm going away, not to London, but I think we're going to do a show on Wednesday if I could coordinate it with you guys. So for all of us, until next time from Jets Rewind.